intention of the board for us to stop doing that and then bring every one of those to a board meeting. Because what happens is we get a notification 2 weeks before the first hearing. And that's when we contact them, get the developer information. We send the abrogation easement to the developer, because that's the negotiation. The county asks us for the agreement, and we'll make it a recommendation of rezoning. The city has said they won't, and that's fine, but we are working, I think we need to keep the city informed on our process, and they've asked us to continue to send them all the information that we're sending the developer. But is staff, is that going to continue, or should I start looking at these and then calling emergency meetings to discuss them?
Let me key off of what you just said. Like I said in my opening remarks, the authority to go after abrogation and protecting this airport has probably existed here since the day we took our first federal dollar. I know that's a requirement because I've had decades of experience in this business. So I took that position. Number two, I think if we want to make people happy, we'll put an item on the agenda that will basically say anytime there's a zoning opportunity out there that the staff move forward and notify whoever they want, the board, and proceed if that makes her happy.
Well, I'm not, as far as putting an item on let our CEO do his job.
Exactly right.
Now, he can notify us by email, but he needs to be able to do his job. That's what we hired him for.
I don't disagree for a second. Absolutely. He has to be able to do his job. But when that involves high-level communications and the involving of attorneys and letters being sent between local governments and us, that's an issue. We have to know about these things. So how many of these have come up in 2022 so far?
This is the only one. I met with a developer yesterday that is considering another rezoning, and I requested of them.
How many do you, just off the top of your head, how many have we done in 2021?
We did none in 2021.
Okay, so it's not something that's coming up. You're not getting 7 a week.
No, but we hear about them 2 weeks before.
Okay. Well, maybe an email and then ask us if we need to vote on it. But you can, I have no issue with you dealing with the developer. My concern is that it appeared that the airport was asking the city of Punta Gorda to make this a condition of the rezoning. The abrogation easement that we want, that it was a condition of that. And that deals with policy issues. That is not just ministerial, that is policy issue, and that needs to come before the board.
Was the appearance basically caused by the newspaper, which we can't control? Is that where the cause was? I'm just asking.
When you say appearance, was that the request that Mr. Parrish submitted to the city?
I still have not seen the documents that were sent to the city, so I don't know what the airport communicated to the city specifically, so I can't comment on that. I know Mr. Hansen got up in front of the Punta Gorda City Council as the chair and said, you know, we have asked that you make this a condition of the rezoning, to paraphrase. And again, we didn't know about it.
I guess the video didn't explain things, but
It explained it perfectly.
I think we've said enough. We know what's.
Okay. I will, though, ask the board to clarify, because, I mean, the rezoning issue is one thing, the abrogation easements are one thing, but we are constantly in communication with the county and the city on issues from the pavement on Piper Road to the extension and closure of Golf Course and Challenger.
Utilities.
All of these, the utilities, so that, I mean, these are things that we're dealing with other government entities all the time. This thing is driving me nuts. And And they're minor items on the agenda. They're not specific that we're dealing with this and that. I want clarification, because I have a lot of staff that says, what did we do wrong? We did exactly what the board has always asked us to do. And I'm not saying the board told us not to do it again. I need clarification. There is no policy, there is a requirement. Where does that line stop? Where do I stop doing the day-to-day operations and bring it to the board? And I need clarification so we can move forward.
Well, Mr. Parrish, I would suggest that we set this as an agenda item so we can give that clarification, and you can show us some examples of what you're talking about, and we can maybe set some parameters, because I'm not clear on all the communication. I just need to be aware so that I can vote and be fully informed.
Maybe she'd like to have a desk in the
Well, I mean,
administration building.
I thought we weren't tolerating any
I just-
negative talk about other commissioners.
And I'm not trying to,
We need to cool things off.
yeah, I'm not trying to, we'll bring it up at another
Mr. Chair,
meeting.
we need to clarify policy, and that should be an agenda item next meeting.
That's right.
Where our CEO can do his job without bogging things down. I think he's
I agree.
shown he's more than capable of handling things. So I think we need to clarify that and put this to rest. So,
All right, if the board so chooses, I'd like to move to the next item, because I'm trying to get to a 10:30 meeting that I'm going to be late to, but it was scheduled prior to this.
Okay, the next item, there was a considerable conversation at the last board meeting concerning the location and the development of a airfield maintenance facility.
So, sure, let's just go straight to
You got
the next slide if we could. Can we, okay, it's there, good, I'm looking at the wrong screen. So as part of the ongoing development of the airport, we have looked at a redevelopment of the existing Gulf Contours facility as a maintenance facility. We started that multiple years ago when we negotiated a new lease with Gulf Contours, and he indicated that he did not want to stay past that. Then we extended that lease 2 more years, and now we've extended it or abated it 1 more year. Because of the controversy, because of the implication that we're kicking a tenant off the airport, I would like to move to a new facility. This is the location that the master plan indicated would be for. There were 2, this one and another one on the south side of the airport, which I don't like for just some operational reasons. This facility, when Golf Course Boulevard is closed from Mooney forward, this would be potential airside. The golf course will become part of our perimeter road at that point. And the combination of operations and maintenance would allow for some synergies of shared conference rooms, shared training facilities, and we need an operations center or a center for operations. As we're looking at the terminal area planning, which I'll bring to a meeting soon once we have some things. The building that they're currently in, which Allegiant is housed in as well, is in the way of the baggage handling system as well as future development. So for some background, in 2005, after Hurricane Charlie, maintenance moved into a abandoned building after their building, which had been abandoned previously by mosquito control, blew away. The Gulf Contours building was built for a maintenance facility with DOT money. We, prior to me, moved Gulf Contours from what is now a machine shop into this building, and then did some extensions and some enclosures subsequent to their moving in. But in 2005, we had 3 maintenance personnel. Today, we have 9. We managed 257,000 square feet of buildings. Today, we manage 26,000 square feet. we had 28 vehicles, and a vehicle is everything on wheels, to today 84, and we managed 4,782,000 square feet of pavement. Today we're over 8 million, 8.5 million of pavement. So the airport's grown, maintenance has not. And I only think it's fair that we consider this development as, you know, our future development for them. This is not necessarily the exact layout. This is preliminary. This is me and another engineer plopping some squares on a page. I do think this is the right location. And I think we need to move forward. Now, we also need a place for our fuel operation to continue. And as the fuel farm expands, as the FBO moves to the new air center, and the fuel trucks will be staging in the fuel farm parking lot, we have gone ahead with the purchase of an 8-by-20 building that'll house 4 to 5 people when they're coming back in, getting their fuel loads, and looking at flights to make sure when they need to be staged to refuel the aircraft. Our plan had been, based on the February meeting a year ago, to house that in the Gulf Contours facility. That has changed, so we're putting them in temporary facilities. I still think ultimately that's the right location for that, but I have done some research with a local developer, as the board had approved a while back for us to build one spec building. I said, well, let's look at a second spec building. A 75 by 150 building that could be separated into 3 units or 1 large unit. On our property, sorry, I just lost my screen, would run about 1.8 million. That's excluding a site work, which I put a little bit of money in, but not, I mean, depending on the location, the site work may be more or less. With a 6.5% return, which is lower than the FAA request, but I think we could do it. That puts it at about $10.45 a square foot. Monthly rate would be about $10,000. If that is something that the tenant would agree to for a multi-year lease, I mean, I think we'd need a 5-year commitment, then, you know, we can work on that while Gulf Contour stays in place. But the board has not authorized me to move forward with design on this, so I'm bringing it here to tell you that we have been looking at it. Honestly, we're a little hesitant on building anything right now, because if you built anything, you know, construction prices are through the roof. So this is not the best time to go vertical, and we're currently have almost $30 million of construction underway. And we could definitely do this, but it's, you know, the board's pleasure on how we proceed. I personally think we have told staff over and over they're going to move out of a building that, if any of you have not been to it, I recommend you go to it. It is not a great building, and it is very small for what they're doing, and I commend our maintenance team for being able to operate as well as they do out of those facilities.